Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Positivity's webinar on doom scrolling and whether that leads to anxiety and overthinking. I know it's a weekend, but I appreciate all of you taking out the time and joining us on this important discussion because of late we all have been reading different researches and facts that how the attention span is really decreasing due to constant scrolling on social media. Now, whether it's just a hearsay or there's some science behind it, and how do we go about it? Because it's quite the reality. If we have to bring in some intervention, how do we do that? That's what we will be talking and learning from Miss Anpurna here. Um, as we begin, I would definitely want to start with introducing positivity as a platform and then our speaker, and then we can get started. So, Positivity is a Singapore headquartered mental health platform. We are operational across different parts of the world, including the Middle East, Malaysia, and India. We have a team of 24 partnered psychologists with us currently, and we are building and growing every day. We are committed to continued welfare and trying to bring in quality mental health care to all of you. So, whoever is wanting to join us and start their mental health journey today, I would really request all of you to come to our website and give it a look. And as we are gathered here today, we will be talking about some awareness based content. So feel free to share that as well if it makes and feels relevant. Ms. Anpurna Thakuria is one of our partnered psychologists. With her capable brilliance, she brings in a lot of experience and years of clinical practice. She works with adults, couples, handling moods and anxiety disorder, depressive disorders, personality factors every day in her life. And she is quite capable of handling all these clinical experiences and sharing the same with us. So, her experience in actually dealing with anxiety and overthinking with real clients every day makes this webinar even more rich and something much more important to take back with us. I'm sure all of you will learn a lot through this discussion. Thank you, Anpurna. And I welcome you and request you to take it forward.
Thank you, Satadipa, for this beautiful introduction. Hello, everyone. My name is Annapurna, and thank you so much uh, for for joining this webinar today in this Saturday weekend afternoon. But I'm sure this webinar will help you a lot. Today, I'm going to talk about something most of us, if not all, are going through. I'll like to begin my I'll share slides, but before that, I would like to begin with an example. I think most of us here have gone through or can relate to this when we pick up our phone on our hands and we think we'll just scroll for 5 minutes. And that 5 minutes before bed, uh, suddenly, when we look up, it turns up that it's actually crossed 1 hour limit. Okay, so we have seen that what started that we'll be watching one last cute puppy reel turned out that we are scrolling through different countries, what's happening globally, and somehow now our anxiety is hyped up. Now we are thinking if we are going to survive 2026. We are also thinking what our future is holding for us, and suddenly we do not feel asleep anymore. Okay, if you can relate to this, welcome to the webinar again. Today we are talking about doom scrolling, and let me share the screen with you all so it'll be easier for us to go through.
And
All right.
Puna, one request for you.
Okay. So
Whenever you
what
are maybe
exactly is doom scrolling? Um, I hope my screen is visible. Okay. So doom scrolling is basically when we cannot stop scrolling or surfing going through negative news. All right, news that we know that it's saddening, it's disheartening, or is making our thoughts go wild and depressing, but we cannot stop. Okay, this is the tendency that it is making us scroll more, look up more about this content. Okay, I'm going to give you some real life examples so that you can understand Doom scrolling is something that today's generation is speaking a lot about, but what is exactly doom scrolling, and how all of us are actually facing issues, and how it's
Annapurna,
affecting our
sorry
mental health?
to
Yeah,
intervene.
Sadadeepa. Yeah, sorry.
Can you go to slideshow mode? It might not be visible to a lot of.
All right. Okay. Thank you for reminding me,
Yeah.
Sadadeepa.
And also, just one request, in case you are not using the slide and,
Hmm.
explaining things more,
Hmm.
you can go on and off between the slide and just
Huh.
talking. Then, people will be able to see you also. And people
Yes,
who are
agreed.
live streaming right now on YouTube, for them also, it will be easier to connect.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Sure. So, okay, now why do we doom scroll? Okay, here we have written, the layman's definition about what doom scrolling is. But if you talk about what doom scrolling is, let's find out why we doom scroll, or what doom scrolling is in terms of everyday basis. Now, um, okay, here I'll give you one classic example of doom scrolling. Um, but this is not like a global crisis example, more like a everyday example. Imagine you are, maybe having a good time with your partner, and you are uh, just hanging around with him, and then suddenly you think of picking up your phone and just going through some, entertaining reels. There you'll find one reel which says that be aware, your partner might be micro cheating. Okay, that's just another reel, and you watch it till the end, and you're like, oh, okay. Then you scroll up. After a few seconds, you see that there are another new reels coming up talking about how your partner may be betraying you behind your back, or is a red flag, or is toxic. Now the partner with whom you were, just a few minutes ago you were having good conversations with whom you were having security, suddenly you start, you know having doubts on them. What if my partner is also having, something to hide about? What if they are also betraying? Okay, our mind immediately goes into that. Our algorithm finds out that we are interested in that because they have shown us quite some reels on that. Now, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, if you're using YouTube, everything together will recommend us things that will go against your relationship. More and more, you're starting to doubt the relationship. So that's how doom scrolling ends up too. All right. I hope I'm making things clearer. Take care. Okay. Now, why do we do this? We do this because our brains are evolutionary wired to scan for threats. Okay, since the very beginning, we are always prepared to scan for threats. And we think that because we are scrolling more and we are collecting more information, and collecting more information is meaning that we are, staying informed or staying safe. But what actually happens in reality is that we are being overstimulated. Okay, all right. Another example could be of doom scrolling is, let's talk about today, okay? Maybe a Saturday, one Saturday you are out of your work, you are trying to relax, and suddenly, um, you are thinking that you have got a good time, you are having a great time, great weekend, everything is done, your laundry is in the laundry basket or in the washing machine, you're having a good cup of coffee, you have dinner sorted out, you're chilling, and then you go look at your phone and you see that some people are enjoying their weekend um, in some exotic spots, like maybe in Bali or maybe in Dubai or something. And then you scroll up and you see that one of your old school friends are enjoying their weekend in some good restaurant, on a date or anything, or maybe on a sports complex or something. Suddenly what you thought that initially, that your weekend is going well, it's relaxing, suddenly you are starting to have feelings that your Saturday is wasted suddenly. Okay. um huh. So this is, I'm giving some classic examples of doom scrolling. Now, all right. My screen is a little bit lagging. I'm sorry for that. And I know Satyadeepa has told me to slide share. However, there is slight problem with slideshow that my slideshow is not picking up currently. All right, we are fine here. So here, this is just a graph. I'm not sure if it is visible. It's very light, but I'm gonna explain to you. It's like a cycle. This is more like a dopamine layout and how our brain reacts to it. So first of all, number one, the first cycle is holding up your phone when we discover something triggering. Okay, something triggering which releases our dopamine. Immediately, our brain look for reinforcements. That means our brain is looking for associating things regarding that news. Okay, news could be anything: global news, pandemic news, conflict news, maybe relationship or anything. So that particular news, we try to, our brain is looking for association, and similar reels or similar posts are being attracted by us. And the algorithm will amplify it. How? Because the algorithm is made into such way that whatever content we are consuming, the algorithm will learn. It has a potential to learn it, right? So it'll learn and give us more of that content. Okay, that's how we are engaging into platforms. That's how you look up something in one app, and then you'll find similar contents flowing out from your different other apps as well. So that's how, in your energy, or you are increasingly engaging with that content, and that becomes a hard to break cycle. That becomes a behavioral loop. That is what this cycle talks about. Because our you know the things, the contents, the platforms, they organize those contents in such a way that there is no stopping, okay, those information. Because when somebody, let's give you a real life example of what is happening today in current world. You remember when these things are that happening today in the Middle East? There is this LPG crisis that was even more a few weeks ago. uh, the news was everywhere that there will be lack of gas now. There will be difficulty in petroleum, in natural gas, in oil. What's going to happen now? People started panicking. Why? Because there was information overload everywhere. Everyone was speaking about how there will be no LPG is equal to you won't be able to eat food now. Now, food is a basic necessity. How are we going to survive? This was something that was in everybody's mind. But for 1 second, people would could not rest it because it was everywhere. It was everywhere. That is how doom scrolling happened. You were scrolling Instagram, the news was there. You were scrolling Facebook, the news was there. You were scrolling YouTube, the news was there. You were scrolling breaking news from other different apps, let's say news apps, the news was there as well. So people started panicking. What if I don't get food? Okay, they all thought about themselves. They started stocking up their LPG cylinders. And now what people, the the actual people who were in need of at least one cylinder, one LPG, could not get it. Okay, so that's how anxiety, that's how anxious the doom scrolling can make it. Now you might be thinking, why am I talking about LPG gases or stocking up cylinders when we are actually talking about doom scrolling, regarding something over phone? I'm just trying to relate to it because stocking up cylinders, panicking way, is actually a start of how, the result, I would say, the result or the consequences of what we were doom scrolling for. Now, how does it affect our overthinking? Okay. So first of all, when we receive a lot of content of similar topic, our brain receives more data than it can process, leading to cognitive fatigue. Just like physical fatigue, when we run more than a mile, we feel very tired and fatigue. Our brain also feel cognitive fatigue, which is information overload. Okay. Now, constant exposure to what's going to happen next. What if, those catastrophic questions, the what if questions, like what if the world ends? What if something bad happens? What if, uh, we do not survive? What if all those, you said, we all know how those questions come up to our brain. When those what if questions or what if cycle questions, you know, come up to our mind, we start imagining the worst case scenario. Another classic example that I would like to give, I come from a Himalayan belt region, and here we are. The scientists have, they have told us that we are expecting a great Himalayan earthquake. Now, um, for people, earthquake is not something that you can predict, but when somebody, some scientist or something, somebody working on, some experts working on that field gives us sentences like this, that there might be. It's just a hypothesis, but how normal people look at it, that oh, there will be an earthquake. Then you see news, um, having a, where other people from other countries are having earthquakes, some severe earthquake. Like last week there was an earthquake in Myanmar, a few days ago there was a devastating earthquake in Indonesia. So people from my place, let's say the region where I am coming from, the Himalayan belt, are now expecting earthquake. Now they are having this catastrophic question that I was talking about. What if earthquake happens here? What if everything this is destroyed? What if I'm not able to see my future? What if what is the use of studying so much? What is the use of preparing for my, let's say, this exam or the job, when everything is going to end? These kind of questions automatically floods our mind. Okay, but because we are so busy uh, questioning, answering, or trying to figure out what if questions, which is in the near future or maybe not, we have paralysis, taking decision that is needed now, right at the moment. Okay. Small lifetime decisions, small thinking decisions, like what's gonna be cooking for dinner. Okay, where what are maybe some things that we need to buy for grocery, maybe for the next day or the next week. These are some small life decisions that we can absolutely, normally we can absolutely take it, talk about in day-to-day life, but we are not able to because our mind is actually busy preparing for something worse. Okay, something that most probably would not even occur, not in the near future, but we are assuming things. We are assuming, what if my relationship falls? We are assuming, what if, the country fails? What if, the world ends? We are assuming, what if, the building breaks down? I'm going to go down with it. And our mind is so much focused in that we have not prepared, we have not thought about, we are not able to actually, that is what decision paralysis looks like. We are not able to focus on what's going for dinner. Okay, that's how the brain, or the doom scrolling can affect overthinking. For everyday people it could looks like it's just normal. How will it affect our day-to-day life? But this is how doom scrolling can actually affect our day-to-day life. Now let's talk about anxiety. All right. Huh. It does trigger anxiety. And how does it trigger anxiety? Let's talk about. So definitely, when you're doom scrolling, it activates fight or flight mode. Okay, what we know by fight or flight modes, either you got to fight for it, like you have to face it, or run, from it. It releases neurotransmitters like cortisols or adrenaline from our, uh, that's from our body, from our mind, from our brain. So it's a biological trigger. More cortisol in your body, more adrenaline makes us anxious, anyways. Now there is a feeling of dread coming up for the future. Why am I doing this? What will it lead to? Anyway, everything will end, nothing is going to remain, so let's just let it be. Let's just not study, let's end it. This is how real time anxiety look like. Some people, they might think that the world is having so many issues, the world is facing so much of problems, the world is facing so much um of violence. Maybe the violence, maybe the issues will affect me. And when it will, okay, there is no maybe. It will be when we are overthinking, it's like, yes, that it will affect us. So when it will affect us, anyway, we are not surviving. Anyway, things will not happen. So let it be. But that let it be situation, that because we are anxious, because we are thinking about it, is affecting our health. Maybe we stop getting um, ready for work. Maybe we are not paying attention for what is most needed for our studies. If we are working in job sector, then maybe we are not paying attention in the job. which is actually harming us, the company you're working for, or if you're working for the government, it's actually also harming the government as well. Now, there is also physical symptoms linked to it. All time, if you're stuck to your laptop, if you're stuck to your computer screen or your tablet or your phone, even, it leads to poor sleep. Why? Because there's constant blue light coming out, and there's stress as well, tension, headaches, increased heart rate, etc. These are the signs of anxiety. This can also happen by just doom scrolling. And you might be thinking that I do not have any problem in my life. Everything is so smooth, everything is so easy. I do not have health issues. I do not have any issues in my family going around. I have no stress. But just see how much of anxiety, how much of stress all scrolling to negative news can bring around. Because from the last few weeks, a lot of us have been going through a lot of negative news around the world, around the world globally. If they affect us or if they may not affect us. If something is happening miles away from you, to have empathy is good. But to think about it, if you're able to help them, definitely good, because only people who are suffering, who are in that conflict region, are knowing what is happening to them. But if you are away from it and just you know metaphorically you are just trying to destroy your life, just thinking about what if situation, that is only through your Android or only through your iPhone, just consuming data, consuming content, and fighting for your mental peace. That's how we are losing ourselves, most of us, if not all. Okay, this is just a flow about whatever I have already said just now, how we receive information and how it the mental noise accumulation. That means how the cognitive noise here is basically the overthinking or the rumination, as in like the imagining the worst case scenario, and then how it leads to chronic stress. So basically whatever I have spoken to this type. Okay, this is something very interesting about algorithm, and I would like to start this with an example. um Imagine that you have a headache. You are having a headache and you just type in Google, and you type, maybe you type, I'm having a headache down my neck. What are the symptoms? Or maybe, or you can just say that, why is my head hurting so much? A basic sentence that one or two people might do it every day. So we just type in, and Google will come up with they come up with answers that it could be stress, it could be tension, it could be hyper blood pressure, it could be migraine or anything. But your algorithm, it catches it. This is how the filter method that I've been showing in the BPT, I'll be coming back. So what it filters is, it filters um your content. So they know, the algorithm understands that you're looking for headache. The next thing that you will look in your social media for you page, full of it, is do not contents like, do not ignore these red flags. You might be suffering from brain cancer if you do not look up to this. Contents like this that will actually make you feel, what if my headache was some signs of brain tumor or brain cancer? Because cancer is so common these days. Your logic leaves your brain for that moment when you start doom scrolling. You start scrolling for more. Oh, wait. Let me check more. What if, let me check other symptoms. What if I'm actually having some issues, and you scroll more and more. Now the algorithm feeds you that. 2 days later, what started with a minor stress, tension, headache ended you being paranoid, you being scared, you being anxious. What if you are, having some major brain issues? What if something is wrong with your brain? You are, what was a tension headache now is more of a life or death situation for you. That is all because that is what actually can happen when we are so much into um, doom scrolling. Okay, That is also what is I was explaining about the echo chamber or the filter deck. If you can see on screen, I hope you can see the screen though. Um, so I was talking about the filter chamber. You know, you put a lot of information, but only the things that will filter out to you on your hand, on your screen, will be those that your algorithm will recognize as you are what you are interested in. The things like, for example, abhi jo I give you the tension headache, so that would be the tension headache, or um, which they will, expand it using a lot of things and make it um, uh, maybe cancer, brain tumor, or you give it those things, and you cannot stop because we that the cycle that I explained you beforehand, because we are looking for more information. In search of more information, we are losing our peace. We are flowing in that trap. Okay, we are falling in that trap of infinite anxiety, of infinite overthinking. Okay. Now comes the comparison trap. Uh, Basically, I think I also started with one example about the vacation of a nice weekend, of a nice Saturday where you thought that you were relaxing, but suddenly when you scrolled up for more posts, for more information, and you found out that people are actually enjoying abroad. People are actually enjoying in a very fancy restaurant, and some are actually going for games, some are going for shopping. What you thought relaxing looks to you as wastage, as a waste of Saturday, or waste of a good weekend, even though initially you did feel relaxing. That's how doom scrolling can lead you into the comparison trap. It can, sorry, it can also lead you to the, when you start comparing your life. Okay, now here is something that we all talk about: FOMO, fear of missing out. Constant social media comparison can lead us to low self esteem, you know, because you'll always think about somebody else is having a better life than you. What was actually good for us a few minutes ago, after just scrolling, after just looking around the contents from Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, suddenly you feel that everyone is having a better life than you. And you are here with your job, stuck, only getting free days in the weekends. That too, you'll have to sit and sleep on bed, rotting, doing nothing, and doom scrolling. What initially, before the comparison started, was feeling very relaxed. You look up to that weekend. You look up to being on bed to rest, because that is how you know, associate peace with, maybe, or peace of mind. So now you are starting to compare. Now you're starting to compare how people, others, are having a better life than you. Is that doom scrolling? Definitely, because that is increasing your, you know, anxiety. That is increasing your sadness. Because obviously you want better life for yourself, and you have seen your phone, and you see that people you know. Okay, this comparison happens only for people you have known, not for somebody whom you do not know, mostly. But these days, what's happening is, in social media, when influencers we are following, content creators, we are seeing them repeatedly. Our brain, our is wired in such a way that they feel that we feel that they are, um, we know them very well, or they are related, or something like that. So we know that this person is somebody we know. Our brain knows that, and we recognize it, and that's why we also have FOMO once we see them, excelling in their life. Now, what we use the phone, or let's say the social media, for seeking us comfort, we end up being more stressful, being more anxious. Okay. uh Another thing that I was planning to say was, you know how uh, okay, how doom scrolling is not just affecting our personal lives, it's also affecting the quality of our life. Okay? Because we have, all of us have 24 hours in our hand, but we all feel that somebody else is, when we compare, like somebody else is doing better than us, suddenly we feel that the quality of our life is bad. It may or may not be bad, but we still think that, that when we compare that the quality of our life has simultaneously going down, it's bad. And then we start taking overthinking things. What if things were different? What if I was the one there? What if I was not stuck here? Okay. Or trying to think about worst case scenarios, like, what if I have invested so much energy, so much money, so much time? What if everything ends like this particular person or this particular thing that I have seen on phone? Okay. That's how we are ruining our peace of mind. That's how we are ruining our mental peace, our mental health. A simple action of picking up your phone, scrolling through it, could make uh, you know uh, us be more aware of our life, something which was not actually needed. I mean, awareness is good, but something where we are actually not liking our lives, where our stress level is actually increasing, where we are more anxious, where we are overthinking about things which are not necessary, and leaving behind things which needs immediate attention. Maybe my own growth, your family. And we are thinking about things that do not need your attention right at the moment. Okay, let's see what's the next slide. Hmm. Okay, this is something that I will definitely come, but before that, reclaiming, or before talking about how we can go beyond doom scrolling, or not ignore doom scrolling and just prepare the positive things. Is there any questions or anything that anybody would like to ask? Because the chat box is open. If you have any questions, you can let me know, so that, you know, I'll be able to ask or reply to the questions if you have. Because doom scrolling is something that, if not always, we have faced it. Come on, you have to accept it. I don't know where you are watching me today. You might be live in this webinar. You might be listening to me in, YouTube or in any other page. When I'm talking about this, after this ends, some of us, if not all, would end up doom scrolling things and overthinking things and scrolling all those things, because our algorithm, they will catch. It has the power to catch your attention. It has the power to show you things that you look up to. And we being human, we, like I already told you, that we are evolutionary. We are into things that, uh, you know, we like to think, or we like to look up to things where we think that they are threat to us. So we look more into news, more into devastating news, in hope of looking for answers, in hope of looking for solutions, but end up affecting our mental health. This is something that um, most of us do understand, how the phone is affecting us. Just like how just like how our mothers used to tell ki, the phone is the only reason of your, let's say, of your life going in a different path. In some way, it's true, because the phone we are all stuck to, which was supposedly, in a in the fingertip, we have so much of information. We have, in just a tap, we have connectivity globally. But we are so much, because because of the algorithm, it is designed in such a way that it will feed us what we are looking for. So one negative search, one negative news can lead up to series of, or um, one after another of news, one after another of content similar to that topic. Worse, it'll be worse, uh, bad, worse, more. It will be even worse when you scroll down, when you look for more about it. All of us, you know, have been in a situation where we, think about negative things, um, the what if questions that we have answered. At this moment, I want you to ponder about it. Take a moment, think to yourself, wherever you are listening to me, think to yourself that has or have you been recently affected by constant doom scrolling in social media? Or you can just answer to my question like, have you ever been scrolling or changing or switching apps? I would say, switching apps, 5 different apps in just 2 minutes because you had nothing better to do. You switched on to Instagram, there was all negativity. You switched to YouTube, there was negativity. So you switched to Facebook, you didn't know what to do, but you were all over. In just 2 minutes, you were scrolling, you were switching off from 5 different apps. Hmm? I'm sure you might relate to this. And then think about it. Has these have this affected you mentally? Have this not affected your decisions? Have this not have the things that you watch online, the things that you are consuming, the things that you are doom scrolling? Do you not talk to your friend or your siblings or your partner about this or your colleagues? I have come across this and this, and then your colleague or your friend is also interested, and then they look up to their method, and now their algorithm is, it has caught up, and then now they will also be looking for information, looking for contents which was absolutely not necessary. It leads to overthinking. Now, if you have seen the contents of my slides, you would know that doom scrolling can lead to overthinking. It can lead to anxiety, which again is directly related to your mental health and also physical health. Because, come on, mental health is in sync with your physical health. The moment you feel depressing, the moment you feel that the world is ending, there would be tension headaches, physical symptoms. You might have gut issues, physical symptoms. Talking out broadly, can just doom scrolling on your phone give you so much of physical issues? But we have faced it, or at least heard about it. The impact is so much that more people need to talk about it. I have had people come up to me in recent days. If I'm not giving you uh, some examples from far in the past, but in the near future, I mean, in the near recent days, they have come up to me and they have said that they do not like anything that is happening in their life. And at first, I thought something is happening, something wrong is happening with their personal life. And then, while talking, chatting, I found out that because of all the negative news that they have faced, they have heard about it, they have watched online, now they feel that nothing is going well. What is the use of investing so much money? So actually, this friend of mine, we were talking about financial savings, and then they came up and said, what is the use of saving so much money now? The world is anyway ending. And I'm like, world is ending? And then they come up giving to me examples of what is happening. I'm not going to lie, they were curious. The questions look very curious. The answers, the content that she was talking to me, I mean, those things looked very interesting. And then I asked her that, Are these things under your control? And they were like, no, it's not in my control, but definitely giving me tension headaches. Definitely thinking about my next step now, if I should do this or should not do this. Okay, now we have talked enough about doom scrolling. I guess now let's talk about how do we actually stop doom scrolling. Okay, I'm gonna slide share again. Okay, great. Okay, here we are. How can we reclaim our mind that is being hijacked by doom scrolling? Number one, recognize the design. Okay, we need to explicitly, manually engineer our own feed now. Uh, you have to be very careful whenever you're watching any negative. And now, when we are talking about it, we have to manually have a positive feed. I'm not forcing anyone to just change everything and then filter out um, any possible news that should be you should be aware of. No, not that like that. But if you are watching or if you are in a consuming content which gives us a lot of negativity, try to break out from them. Go find there is a search bar. Go intentionally go and type things which are unrelated from the content that you are consuming, the negative content that could lead to potential doom scrolling, potential overthinking and anxiety and affecting your mental health. Go type something positive, something good, something affirmative, something that can motivate you, something that cannot make you hate your life but can actually be make you more grateful about every day. Okay, that is the first step that you can do. Manually curate your feed by watching or following good content. This is something if you should try doing every day at least, so that your algorithm will now stop giving you contents which is negative but more positive. And also take social media breaks, okay, from the news cycle. Reading news, knowing about the world is very much appreciated, very much needed as well, but take breaks. Okay, your attention, your cognitive resources are so much, you need the digital detox. At least take breaks every day. I'm not saying you do not use your phone for a week or something, do not use social media for a week or something. I know at today's generation it's very difficult for not going through social media for at least an hour, but let's try. Okay, let's try to do digital detoxing every day for at least a few hours, if not consecutively few hours, but like morning, afternoon, or at least when you're not working. Try seeing where you are reaching out the phone. Okay, try thinking to yourself, how many times do you reach for your phone when it's absolutely not needed, when you do not hear a notification, when you do not hear any um, phone calls or a pop-up notification or anything, or you do not and you're actually busy working, but how many times do you actually go pick up your phone and scroll out of nowhere? It has become like a habit. It has become like a habit. You go reach your phone, look for it. So try to figure out things like those. Try to be more aware. Okay, how many times do you actually go and reach for your phone when it was absolutely not necessary? That's how you're going to give yourself digital detox. Switch off from your logout, I would say. Not log out, but you can, yeah, easily log. You can try not joining those apps or just log out for a few hours. So every time you have to log in now, you have to log in Instagram, you have to log in into Facebook. So your brain will be like, okay, and you'll remind it, ki, acha, I have to log in. So you'll be reminded, ki, I'm in digital detox at least for the next hour. I'll stop doing this and start doing things that is necessary. Maybe I'll go out and walk, go out and play with my children, play with my friends, or play with my puppies, or just listen to some good positive music, or meditate, even better. Set alarm tones. I have done it. Okay. When I say things like this is something that also comes from my side. I'm not a monk or anything. These are things that I've actually faced myself, and that is why I'm able to speak to you all. I have been there, done that, but I'm improvising. I'm not saying that I have figured out everything, but I'm trying to detox myself from social media uh, mindfully. I would say I'm using social media very mindfully these days, and I'm using app timers, and you can do it too. I think most of our phones, Android, iPhone, you have your app timers. Use that, and if you do not, use physical alarms. Key, I'll be using Instagram for maybe let's say 30 minutes, 45 minutes. Run your timer behind. It will break your trance. It will break whatever happens in 45 minutes. You'll close the app, do something else. Not go in another app, by the way. You'll do something else. Okay. You'll start doing something else, maybe something necessity. Also start practicing jomo, which is joy of missing out. It is completely okay to miss out things uh, for a few minutes, for a few days, for a few hours even. You do not have to be constantly active online to figure out what is happening. Your constantly being online will not help the global economy. It won't help the global crisis. You have to start thinking about your peace of mind as well. Okay. Practice being in the present moment. Practice deep breathing, practice meditation. If you are having issues, go and talk to someone trustworthy. Or you can definitely find more people to talk about in our positivity app. Uh, More therapists if you're looking for with your interest. There are so many therapists, qualified therapists in positivity. When you go and you'll search for them, search for the issues, and they'll be coming out beautifully in the platform, and you can just go and start taking sessions. You know, this is the time where we are so much advanced in technology, where AI is starting to replace so many things. It's time that we give our mind a break and we prepare our mind to become stronger. Just like how we go to the gym to prepare for our physical health, it's time that we prepare for our mental health as well. Go out, talk to someone, talk to professionals, practice meditation, practice deep breathing, give a break, take a break from your phones, from your social media. Prioritize, offline peace over online awareness. Okay, this is the last slide, and let's see what's here. Yeah, that's what I was saying. You have to identify triggers. If in this entire session, if you have understood how, the effects of doom scrolling, if you think that, you are one of the victim of doom scrolling, or you are somebody who does doom scroll, who does go through all these news, who are going through infinite amount of negative contents, who are overthinking life decisions, who are overthinking life anxiously, then identify your triggers. Like I said before, notice when and why do you reach your phone. Are you reaching your phone because you have to send an important email, read out a message that has just popped, or you just open to see and be sad that there is nothing on your screen? If nothing, it's better to avoid it. Curate your feed. That's the second thing. Follow accounts that offer hope, solutions, and positivity, and not just negative news. Okay. Seek actionable content. Prioritize information with clear pathways forward. Now, protect your cognitive resources. Limit your screen times and your notification management. practice quiet hours. So there is something called as quiet hours. If you do not know it, go find out. It's available in Instagram, it's available in other apps as well. Switch on quiet hours. Okay, when you switch on quiet hours after 10 p.m., you won't be getting notification, or you can, I think you can curate it according to your time, but after a certain amount of time, you'll stop getting notification. You'll start doing something that is actually important for your health, something that is uh, better for your mental health. Start practicing meditation. um, Meditation, when I talk about meditation, guys, meditation does not mean you have to go on a full-fledged meditation mode. Meditation could be just inhaling, you know exhaling, and become present of your current moment. All right, I hope this session was interesting. I hope this could at least give you a little bit, if not lots, a little bit of awareness of how doom scrolling can actually affect our mental health, how the algorithm is designed in a such a way that it will capture our interest. So it's our choice, it's our um need. Actually, we need to do it, curate it. It's our choice, it's our important job to curate our feed in such a way to feed to curate our algorithm in such a way that it does not feed us constant negativity. Definitely it will come up on your for you page once in a while, but it's your job to realize that it's not um what I mean, it's not the end of the world. You cannot save everything, but what you can save right now is your peace of mind. And that is it for today. I hope you find this interesting. And if there is any question, you can ask me now. Yeah. Over to you, host Sadadeepa, if you are here, or Shreya.
Yeah. Am I audible? Hello? Okay, I think ma'am's internet is lagging. But yeah, thank you so much, Annapurna ma'am, for this wonderful session. And I hope everyone got to learn something about it and how social media or, doom scrolling, does it lead to anxiety or overthinking? And I think it's safe to assume in some cases it does. And, the algorithm, like ma'am said, it's in a way, it's designed in a way that, keeps you addicted to the app, right? There are people who are working on this. So, and particularly for people who have FOMO on a lot of things, it's difficult for them to not go and think about it, to overthink, or build up anxiety. So I think ma'am mentioned some wonderful interventions as well about how to do that as well. So thank you, ma'am, for this lovely session. And quickly, I just wanted to share my screen and to continue this um, this conversation going, I wanted to share my screen. Is my screen visible? I think it is. All right, so this is our Positivity's website, and in that you can book a session with Annapurna ma'am, and you can see, what kind of degree she has, what kind of concerns she takes for the clients. So you can go onto the app, on the website, and see if you want to have one-on-one session, or there are packages as well for her, you know. Concerns, so that can be there, and I'll be putting up the psychologist page to see that you guys can check around, and if the sessions you want to book are related to your concerns, and it can be figured out. So yeah, this is the page of positivity. I'll be sharing the link. So yeah, thank you everyone for joining, and yeah, I hope you guys had a wonderful session. This is the link so everyone can go and see the different psychologists and see how it supports them. So, thank you everyone. Thank you, Annapurna ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.